It's Monday night. It's November 6th, 2023. Crazy to think we're already in the month of November. 2023 is just flying by. Tonight is episode 350, no, 364, 64, I believe, of the Tanner J Man Show. I'm Tanner Lee. Coach Josh the J Man appropriately is rocking his Illini gear tonight, as tonight is the beginning of college basketball. So tonight is our Big Ten college basketball preview show. We'll also be talking about breaking news today for the Chicago Cubs. We'll be recapping college football week 10 and NFL week 9, and looking forward to college football week 11, NFL week 10. With all that said, thank you for watching on the ISC Sports Network, on the ISC Sports Network YouTube channel, X page, and the Tan and J Man Show Facebook page. And if you're listening to this on your favorite audio podcast platform, please give us that 5-star rating and review. We'd really appreciate it. That helps us out. I'm out of breath. J Man, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. That's pretty good there, Tito.
I didn't try the hot takes, topics, pick some more,
Yeah.
even though I just nailed it there.
That's become my new trademark, is to screw that up now that I don't have what was it? Get your veggies.
Yes, it was.
I no longer have that. So me screwing up hot takes, picks, topics, takes, and more. It's my new thing.
Classic.
But I got some college football birdie or bogey for you here tonight.
College football one.
Yeah, I saw this on game day a few weeks ago. So you might have seen it, but I hope you forget.
I don't know.
Kyle Whittingham is one of 5 active FBS head coaches with multiple Rose Bowl appearances. Can you name the other 4 coaches?
One of 5, you said, active with multiple Rose Bowl appearances.
Yep.
Okay.
Can you name the other 4? 3 for a par, 4 for a birdie. So,
okay.
Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House. Arlington Public House is upscale cuisine and cocktails with a casual atmosphere, located 703 Main Street, Rochester, Indiana. $2 whole smoked wings, $1 off domestic brewskis every Monday night. Over the weekend, they had butter chicken, which was spiced marinated tandoori style chicken, slow simmered in a creamy Indian spiced butter cream sauce, topped with a touch of serrano peppers, cilantro, and honey roasted cashews, served over coconut rice with grilled flatbread. So, little peek into their weekend menu.
Man, I'm starving. I haven't eaten. I'm just starving. That sounds good.
I've already eaten, which is rare, but I wanted to
get
it out of the way. Just I ordered a cheap pizza. I'll just leave it at that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not like a. It was mod pizza. I'll tell you that much. But
no free ads.
No free ads. Quick, cheap, halfway decent. So
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. A good zaw is a good zaw.
You know what? Bad zaw is pretty good zaw too. Let's be honest.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Baseball, real quick here. World Series is over. Rangers won, so I got my book it right, even though I was trying to do a kind of book it curse.
Reverse.
But it's
only 5 teams now that have never won it.
Yeah.
Who's the next one? Who's the next one out of those 5? In your
you got to think Tampa Bay is going to get one eventually.
They're probably the best position.
Yeah, they keep chipping away at getting there anyway, or getting to the playoffs. But they did lose their general manager to the Marlins, who left to become the head of baseball ops for the Marlins. So that was a big deal. And the Rays, arguably for years, have had the best front office in baseball. So maybe we'll see good things from the Marlins. But lowest watch World Series I think we've ever seen, which was kind of predictable. So people are kind of ripping, said it was bad for baseball. I actually think the Rangers winning was good for baseball. 2 years ago, lost 100 games, spent $800 million in free agency, and they won. So I think that's a good thing, that it gives teams incentive to go out and try to get better and spend through free agency. Speaking of spending, the Chicago Cubs, out of absolute nowhere, didn't see it coming, fired David Rosaday and hired Craig Counsell, gave him $8 million a year over 5 years, which is absurd for a manager. It's very reminiscent to when the Cubs fired Rick Renneria and hired Joe Madden. Counsell is a massive upgrade over David Ross. I think we even kind of talked about this in the middle of the season. I was kind of on the fire David Ross bandwagon, you asked who I wanted, and I'm pretty sure that one of the guys I mentioned was Craig Counsell.
I know his name came up. Yeah.
I've hated him for years because he was with the Brewers. I always thought he was kind of whiny, but he is one of the best in the business at working on the margins. His Brewers teams have not been overly talented, yet they have had an over 500 record each of the last 7 seasons. So he's worked so well on the margins. His lineup construction, his bullpen management, starting rotation management, so much better than David Ross. And I felt like towards the end of the season, especially, Ross really cost them some games, and they probably would have made the playoffs had Craig Counsell been their manager last year. So this is hopefully a sign of things to come, and it should be a sign of things to come this offseason. The Cubs will be very aggressive. It shows they're not messing around. And I know Jed probably feels like his seat is going to start getting warm. Jed Hoyer, the Cubs president of baseball ops, so he had to go out and make a splash. And now I think we'll see them mentioned for some big-time free agents, maybe a trade for Juan Soto, maybe be in the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes, and other Japanese players. So good sign. Love the move. Came out of nowhere. Credit to the Cubs and Jed Hoyer keeping things close to their vest because no one saw it coming.
I think Mets fans thought they might get him.
Mets fans thought they were going to get him. He interviewed with the Cleveland Guardians, and then, of course, the Brewers thought he was going to come back. But Cubs waited until November 1st to reach out because his contract expired October 31st, and they got it done quick, so credit them. And should be a pretty fun offseason for the Cubs. And now the real season starts, as our good friend Andrew Eiler, who's, I think, watched his Cincinnati Reds team play in the playoffs 3 times in his life, says that the real season starts the offseason. So,
yeah, it's I was so confused when that came across our group message because I'm like, wait a second. I thought David Ross was still the Cubs manager. And then I was like, oh my God, they fired him. And then same thing with the Mets when they hired a guy today. I didn't know Buck got fired. So I just have been out of it, I guess.
Yeah, Buck retired or stepped away on his own.
Oh, okay. Which his name's in the mix, I guess, for the Angels. I read today. So I don't know.
The Angels have some they have some issues out there in Anaheim. So maybe Buck Showalter, who's been known to turn some franchises around, the Orioles, and then he did a pretty good job with the Mets. But yeah, it was a shocking day because I saw it come across my messages. I'm like, no, that has to be fake. And then I went on Twitter and it was all over. I could not believe it because it was such a surprise. So
sorry, I'm laughing, but I've seen on Twitter, Purdue just started against Samford. And Samford last week on their Twitter has been hyping up that they're got their 5'7" guard. They had him jump.
Did they do it?
Tonight. Yes. It is just the visuals absolutely hilarious.
Hey, I mean, you know you're gonna get in there, you know you're probably gonna get killed. Why not have a little bit of fun while you're at it?
Have some fun with it. Yeah, no, that is gold. That is great.
Yeah, that is
Zach Edey won the tip.
I was gonna say if he didn't
tipped out of bounds though. About tipped out of bounds.
Oh. So. Well, I was gonna say if he didn't win that tip, it means he probably blew out his knee. He Robbie Hummeled it. So
or the guy just straight up blow the belt punch and knock him down, and he'd still probably be taller.
Yeah. But yeah, that is pretty funny. That's all I got baseball wise. So
big news that we didn't expect. We were just gonna say cover the World Series for like a minute and had to hit on that news.
And obviously we'll be giving updates as the off season progresses, but usually things don't heat up until winter meetings, which are first week or so of December. So should be kind of light on the baseball talk here the next few weeks.
Yep. Gotta let my dog out of the room real quick.
All right. As Tanner's doing that, I think I will educate you all on this day. I'll wait till Tanner gets seated. I am going to do on this day real quick.
All right, perfect.
On this day in 1869, the first U.S. college football game was played. Players used their hands or their feet. Rutgers beat Princeton 6-4.
I was gonna say I thought Rutgers was part of the first football game ever because they always say that on the Big Ten Network. So
1869. So it obviously wasn't actual football back then. Of course, that it is today. But on this day in 1883, NYAC organizes first American cross-country championship race. I'll tell you, one sport that I would not be good at. I could probably compete in about anything. Cross-country is not one that I would.
I ran 1 year, 6th grade. I was okay at it. I just didn't enjoy it. It takes a special person to enjoy running long distance.
Yeah.
You have
I
to
don't
fight
know.
through a lot of stuff, cramps and needing to go to
Yeah.
the bathroom, and it's not enjoyable. At the same time,
On this
Yeah.
day in 1934, the NFL's Philadelphia Eagles beat the Cincinnati Reds 64-0. That's all it gave me. Don't know if the Cincinnati Reds baseball team or if there's a Cincinnati Reds football team back then. All it says is they beat Cincinnati Reds 64-0. So I have no idea.
trying to think of a joke, but I got nothing.
Let's see. On this day in 1961, the U.S. government issues a stamp honoring the 100th birthday of James Naismith.
That's cool.
Which is kind of funny because Naismith was actually Canadian.
Did not know that.
I didn't know that either until I read it on this day. So thank you, onthisday.com. On this day in, it's kind of a week on this day, which is probably good because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. 1995, Art Modell officially announces Cleveland Browns are moving to Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, it went well for the Ravens. Hadn't gone well for the new Browns.
It is not. Let's see.
Maybe this is the year, though. Maybe this is the year.
Maybe. Last one here. On this day in 1996, LA Dodgers Todd Hollandsworth, former Cubs legend, won NL Rookie of the Year.
I would never guess he won any award of that magnitude.
No. Yeah. He was not that great, but he obviously had a pretty good rookie year, or is a pretty weak rookie class, which could be. But.
That is the On This Day, which is brought to you by, like it is every week, Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of Texas with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs that fit your needs, and their pieces are a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. You can see some of their recently completed projects by visiting them on Instagram and Facebook at Mooney Woodcrafts. And if you let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you, you get 15% off your order. So get those sign orders in. We are in November now. It's going to be Christmas here in about a month and a half. So exactly a month and a half. So get your sign orders in. They make the perfect gift for the sports fan in your family. All right, J-Man. Well, before we get into our Big Ten basketball preview, I got a word association segment, which is Big Ten basketball related. And this is one of the more random ones we've ever done. I literally typed in Big Ten basketball on Google, and the first 12 players to come up is what I went with tonight. So you're going to have a mix of all sorts, some present, a lot of former. Starting with Trace Jackson Davis.
Yeah, playing with the Golden State Warriors. One of the best athletes we've ever seen from a big man come through the Big Ten. He was pretty dominant athletically. Never really developed an outside shot, which I think hurts his chance to stick in the NBA for a little while. But he was a really good player, obviously.
Glenn, the big dog Robinson.
Big dog, man. He was obviously I was too young to remember him, but he was probably the most dominant force we've seen come through Big Ten play here within the past 30 years or so.
1994 National Player of the Year, then was taken by the Milwaukee Bucks #1 overall, which at the time he had the biggest rookie contract ever in NBA, but that's been passed pretty easily. Another National Player of the Year, the actually reigning National Player of the Year, Zach Edey.
Zach Edey, man, I bumped into him at down at Purdue here about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and he's tall. Yeah, obviously, when he got there, we always made fun of Matt Painter. Well, he went from Haas, and then he went and got Matt Harms. He likes these tall guys. Edey was not heralded at all, was he?
They expected a red shirt when he got on campus.
I don't know if he's going to play a whole lot, and then he turns into National Player of the Year. Pretty incredible.
He didn't start playing basketball until sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's still learning. That's a scary thing. Baseball and hockey, both. Yeah. So, Chris Murray.
Oh, man. He not as good as his brother, still really good. And he was a first-round pick. there by, I think
It's not too shabby.
Portland, maybe. I don't follow
Sounds
the
right.
NBA, but I want to say Portland. Lefty, I will always remember him missing a three that would have won Iowa the game, and it clinched Illinois the Big Ten championship 2 years ago. So thank you.
Another Hawkeye, Luke Garza.
Oh man, if it weren't for him, Io would have been National Player of the Year in 2021. But unfortunately, Luca Garza had to be there. He was
thank you.
He was so good, and I think for whatever reason, he's a guy I think we've already kind of forgotten about. But he was unbelievable.
I think the reason why we forget about him is, unfortunately, his teams didn't do a lot in the postseason, so you kind of just forget about him. But he was very, very good. Glenn Rice.
Oh man, he was on the '89 Michigan team.
Mm-hmm.
That Illinois swept Michigan during the regular season and lost to him in the Final Four, which is a classic.
Hard to beat a team three times.
It is.
He bounced around NBA for a while, but I always remember him
time.
as a member of the Heat. Calbert Chaney. There's one well before our lifetime. Right?
Yeah, I obviously know he played for Indiana, and he's one of the most heralded Indiana players ever. Don't remember anything about him.
I think he was NBA assistant for a while.
Yeah,
too.
That sounds about right.
Mateen Cleaves.
Oh man, he was the best point guard in college basketball when Michigan State won that national title, and it seemed like every year after that, a Michigan State point guard was compared to Mateen Cleaves. And they've had good ones, I think, every single year since we've been watching Big Ten basketball, starting with Mateen Cleaves.
It's funny you mentioned that because the next guy is a Michigan State point guard of the past, Cassius Winston.
He's a guy, I think he got a cup of coffee or played a little bit in the NBA, but man, that dude was an unbelievable college point guard. Maybe, arguably, Tom Izzo's best point guard he's had, too.
Which is quite a lengthy list there. Johnny Davis.
The worst Big Ten player of the year. I've been saying that ever since he won it last 2 years ago. Top 10 or top, I know he's a lottery pick, and I don't even think he's on an NBA team right now. At least he bounced around the G League. It was pretty predictable to see, though. For some reason, he got these high accolades, even though he was super inefficient. He scored a lot of points. He could rebound a little bit, but I never understood the Johnny Davis hype.
Two more here. Jim Jackson.
Jimmy Jackson, Ohio State. I don't mind him as a commentator.
He's growing on me. I used to.
And we'll be seeing him a lot now with the Fox stuff, but he had a decently long NBA career as well.
He's top 10 pick by the Kings, I believe. And then lastly, Jalen Pickett.
If I could not hear that name ever again, that would be great. He was an Illinois killer.
He killed everybody.
Couldn't beat Penn State with him. But he was surprisingly like an early second round pick this past year.
Denver Nuggets. Yep.
Yeah, and he is what Illinois is going to try to do at the point guard spot this year with Ty Rodgers, is what Underwood calls booty ball. Just put his butt into him, back a guy down. He could pass, he could score. Really good. And he is what made Micah Shrewsbury's team go last year.
Yes. And that's going to do it for the Word Association list. Thank you, Google, which is brought to you by, like as every Proforma Print 2 promo group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting coming at the end of 2023 or the start of 2024, Proforma Print 2 promo group has over 50 years, yes, 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs, so you need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574-210-3815.
Big Ten hoops, hard to believe it's back. It feels
still hasn't hit me.
Yeah, it always has a hard time hitting you the first week or two because college football's still and the NFL's still well underway. This is our last season preview we'll do until Major League Baseball.
Yes.
We have three of them in about 2 months, and now
that's a good point.
But how do you want to do this? Do you want to go from 14 up, or you want to go from 1 down to 14?
Let's go 14 up. I think we usually start one down to 14,
Yeah,
but
I think we did 14 up for football, and I liked it that way, or
yeah.
the bottom up in each division. But
But before we do that, how about player of the year predictions?
Zach Edey.
I got Zach Edey as well.
Yeah.
We both last year went with Hunter Dickinson.
Huh?
Last year, both wrong.
Yeah. It would be a major upset if Edey's not the player of the year. Crazier things can happen. I could see a guy like Jameer Young winning it, or I know Tyson Walker got that one vote, which was from a Michigan State guy.
I think your boy's gonna be pretty good.
Terrence Shannon, I think
he'll be right there in the mix.
Will have a good year. Should be a first teamer, but I don't know if he'll put up the numbers Edey does.
Very dark horse, because I think his team's gonna be all right, but I don't think they're gonna be good enough for him to get in the mix. Would be Boo Booey.
Yeah, that's another guy I wanted to mention. Yeah. Northwestern fans are gonna hate me where I have him. Fans.
I was gonna say, do we have any that listen to this program?
Yeah, Boo Booey is a guy that will put up numbers. Now, if a college or a Big Ten fantasy league was still happening, which I think there still are, Boo Booey will be a very popular pick for that. But
yep.
I do not have them very good.
Well, who do you got finishing dead last? 14th in the Big Ten. The last time we'll see the Big Ten 14. Next year, there's going to be 18 teams to predict for basketball.
Minnesota. I know it's only year 3, but Ben Johnson's seat's got to be hot. I'm not saying they need to make the tournament in order for him to stay, but they have to show something because they have been not even competitive the past 2 years. They do have Dawson Garcia back, and they got to transfer Elijah Hawkins from Howard, who averaged 13 points a game, 6 assists, but they've been terrible the past 2 years.
I actually have Penn State last. Losing Micah Shrewsbury to Notre Dame, lost a lot of players, some to the NBA, some to transfer. Got new head coach Mike Rhodes coming over from VCU.
Only new coach in the Big Ten.
He's bringing over Ace Baldwin with him, who was the 18th player of the year and defensive player of the year, so that he should help. And they got North Carolina transfer Puff Johnson and transfers and DeMarco Dunn. So they're both former top 100 prospects. They'll be coming in. But besides that, couldn't really tell you much about their roster.
Yeah. Ace Baldwin, 12 points a game, near 6 assists last year for VCU. Puff Johnson is Cam Johnson's bro, who's an NBA guy with the Suns. They also got transfer Leo O'Boyle from Lafayette, 11 points a game last year, and Raquandis Mitchell from Kansas City, who averaged 17 points a game last year. I have him 13th, so I don't have him too far off.
I have Minnesota 13th, so
cool.
I don't really have much else to add than what you already said about them.
Yeah. So. Who you got finishing 12th?
I have the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
I have the Michigan Wolverines.
Okay.
Finishing 12th. I have Nebraska 10th.
I got Michigan 10th. So
okay. Do you want to talk about Michigan or Nebraska?
I'll talk about Nebraska. I mean, Hoiberg's team, they played better as the year went on last year. They got one of the more entertaining players in the league. I'm not even trying to pronounce his first name. Tominaga. He's 6'2". He averaged 20.3 points while shooting 55.7% from the floor and 43.1% from three-point range. Final 9 games. Say. This will be his final season. He entered the portal, but didn't go anywhere. They did lose their number 2 and 3 scorers, but they got a deep transfer class like Hoiberg always does. Missouri Valley big, Rink Mast from Bradley and ex-Iowa guard Aaron Ulis. So we'll see what they can do.
They also bring in transfer from Charlotte Bryce Williams, who averaged 14 points a game. Jerron Coleman from Ball State, who averaged 14 points a game. Now I said Rink Mass, who averaged 13 and 8 at Bradley, but also Josiah Alec from New Mexico, 8 points and 7 rebounds a game. So once again, Nebraska has to reload or retool with these transfer guys. And I think there's maybe 2 or 3 Big Ten coaches that are on the hot seat. I started with Ben Johnson, but I think Hoiberg's another one. They were better as the year went along, but they need to show progress again, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I think his contract's decently expensive for Nebraska basketball.
Yeah, and they still pack that place out, though, so it's not like they're losing money off it. But they need to start showing that they're pretty good here soon. As I said, I have Michigan 12th. They lost Jet Howard. To the NBA, Hunter Dickinson. To Kansas, they do pick up transfers into Amari Burnett from Alabama and Olivier Nkamhwa from, from Tennessee, who's a big, who's pretty good. They also lost Kobe Buffkin to the NBA as well.
They only got 2 returning starters, Doug McDaniel and Terrence Williams.
And is it Jace Howard, Jawan's other son?
Sounds right.
He's back, but he looks like he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with an injury. Jawan also won't coach to start the year because he had surgery, so it'll be Fran Dunphy, not Fran Dunphy.
Phil
Martelli.
Yeah.
Almost said Phil Dunphy.
One of the best TV sitcom characters of all time.
So I think this will be a rough year for Michigan. Should be a rough year for Michigan anyway.
I got Michigan 10th. Mm-hmm. So who do you got at 11th?
Northwestern. I haven't finished in that bottom 4. Boo Booey's back. They did lose Chase Audige, who arguably is their most important player. They do have Ty Berry and Matthew Nicholson back as well, and they got a transfer from Princeton, Ryan Langborg, 12 points a game. Their stretch in February into March felt fluky to me, and losing Chase Audige does not help, and I just don't think they'll be very good.
I actually had the Wildcats 8th, so I have them a little higher than you do.
Yeah.
I got the Iowa Hawkeyes 11th.
Okay, I have them 9th.
I mean, they were led by, of course, Garza, then Murray. The past 4 seasons, we've already talked about those guys during the word association. But now they need to find a new offensive engine. And I don't know who that's going to be. It could be, Tony Perkins, Peyton Sandfort, or Patrick McCaffrey, who feels like he's been there a decade. They are getting a big man from Valparaiso and Ben Crick. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. And then they're going to have, DeJounte Bowen will add some depth, and Josh Dix. But I don't know. They have a four-man freshman class coming in. I mean, maybe Fran and company can surprise me, but I just don't see it.
I've always liked Tony Perkins. Pretty solid point guard. And I said Peyton Sandfort. They need both of them to have kind of breakout seasons. Ben Crickey, whatever his name is, from Valpo, 19 points a game last year. Their top freshman is Sandfort's brother, Price. So they have another set of brothers. Seems like they have brothers every year. Then I have to throw 2 players out from my dad's alma mater, Moline. Brock Harding, who won Illinois Mr. Basketball. He's point guard. And then big man Owen Freeman of these. I think they're 7A state champs. And
how did Underwood let Illinois Mr. Basketball get out of the backyard?
Both were non-top 150 guys. So typical Iowa McCaffrey type guys who McCaffrey's known to be a proven developer of talent there. I mean, both Murray brothers weren't highly thought of. Neither was Luka Garza. So
that's a good point.
But I have Iowa finishing 9th.
Okay. 9th for me is I got to get my graphic up here, Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
I have them 8th.
So, I mean, Pikel's bunch is going to be tough as nails, but they lost a lot of guys. They lost Caleb McConnell, Paul McCahey, thank goodness. But they get Cliff Omarari back. Mm-hmm. He's going to be one of the better guys in Big Ten, probably win Big Ten Defense Player of the Year. He's probably favored too, I would say, or up there if not. Derek Sampson will probably find his way in the rotation after his sophomore year. A lot of people are saying he'll have a breakout year. They're getting UMass transfer Noah Fernandez. He averaged 14.9 points per game and 5.3 assists in 2021, 2022, and then he got hurt last year for the Minutemen. Then they got Andre Hyatt and Mawet Mag.
Who was good last year. And remember, Rutgers was good, and then Mag got hurt.
That's right.
They just weren't the same team after that, missed the tourney.
That's right, but they sure have been a thorn in Purdue's side. So,
yeah.
you know they're going to be physical.
So. Oh, yeah. Pikel's done an unbelievable job there. That was a program that was one of the worst Power 5 or high majors in college basketball. And he's turned them into a very respectable bunch that now it's kind of surprising if they don't make the tournament or at least on the bubble. One guy you did not mention was FIU transfer Austin Williams. He was out last year with an injury, but in 2021, 2022, he averaged 16 points a game at Hartford. They definitely won't score a bunch, but they will grind that game out, slow it down, and hope to win in the 50s, which is what Pikel does best.
And if anybody's watching our podcast right now, it's live instead of the Purdue game, but it's interested in score, Purdue's up 22-4 so far. So
Yeah. What would have been even funnier is if the guy just had the 5'7" guy just shadow Edie the whole game and just guard him.
It's pulling his shorts.
Yeah. Holding on to his leg. Yeah. But I have Rutgers 8th. Where are we at? Are we at 8th?
We're at 7 because I had Northwestern 8.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Who do you got at 7?
I have Ohio State at 7. Big year for Holtman. Last year was very disappointing. But they do get transfer Jamison Battle from Minnesota. He had kind of a down year, but he was really good the year before. Then they have 3 top 55 freshmen led by Devin Royal. So they're kind of a wild card. But Chris Holtman can coach, and I think last year ticked them off enough that they'll have a decent year.
I actually have the Indiana Hoosiers at 7. They're a very tough team to figure out.
Yeah.
I actually think 7's probably like about their basement.
Yeah.
They just lost so much offensive production last year. I got to see who's got to step in first before I can put them too much higher. I mean, they lost Trace Jackson Davis, who was a senior, but to the NBA, Race Thompson, who was a good player for them for 4 years, and then Jalen Huchafino, who was a one and done, who so far with his NBA career, maybe he shouldn't have jumped. But they do get Xavier Johnson back for his 7th season. And then they got a 5-star freshman forward, Mackenzie
Mbako.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. But then you got Malik Renew coming back for sophomore year, Oregon transfer center, Kel-El Ware, who's a freak athlete. Just got to see what Woodson can get out of him. Then you got Peyton Sparks arriving from Ball State, and Miami, Florida transfer Anthony Walker, who has 125 appearances for a reserve guard in a pretty good program.
Yep.
And then you got Trey Galloway as well, who is a returning vet that'll be in the starting lineup. So still some experience there for the Hoosiers, but it's going to be interesting to see how Woodson gets all these guys to mix.
Yeah, I have Indiana 6, so I have him right there. That Kel-El Ware was a top 10 recruit that went to Oregon, and he averaged 6 points and 4 rebounds a game last year. Sounds like he has issues with his motor from everything I've kind of read and watched, so maybe Woodson will get it out of him. But yeah, as you said, Peyton Sparks, 6'9", 240, 13-9 last year. They have a ton of talent there, which
Sure.
they should. And as our good friend Cam said, he thinks they'll struggle early, especially with offensive cohesion. But towards the end of the year, they'll be a better team, obviously, which is what you hope.
That's what you want.
That's what you want.
And it's interesting. We've already listed, talking about 7 Big Ten teams, 2 Ball State transfers.
Yeah.
So it just shows you what the NIL and transfer portals doing to a lot of these mid-major programs. Just taking their good players. Yep. So at number 6, I got the Wisconsin Badgers. Number 6.
I've been 5th.
I got Ohio State 5th for the record. You already talked about them. But Wisconsin made the NIT last year, but they did get 3 victories in the NIT, so that got them to the 20-win mark for Greg Gard and company. They lost 11 of the final 17 conference games, and were 1 and done in the Big Ten tournament last year after starting 3-0 in the Big Ten. So they were definitely a team who got worse as the year went on. But they'll be led by Tyler Wall, who feels like he's been there.
Did have an injury last year, and that kind of hurt them down the stretch.
Yeah, yep. He's a 5th-year senior, but it seems like he's been there a decade.
Yeah.
But that's the only guy I got really mentioned. I don't really have anybody else.
Chucky Hepburn is back as well, which there were so many rumors he was going to transfer, but he is back. Stephen Crowell as well. They do get transfer AJ Storr from St. John's, who as a freshman last year averaged 9 points a game and 40% from 3. He was a one-time Illinois commit, and then Chin Coleman left to go to Kentucky, and he decommitted. So I wish Illinois had his size and ability to shoot the 3 ball right now. But this Wisconsin team should be a tourney team. If there's not, I think Gard will have some heat on him as well.
Yep, which we haven't seen that in a Wisconsin coach in a long time.
Yeah.
So I have Ohio State 5th. You've already covered them. So our top 4 is the same top 4. We just don't know what order.
I have Maryland finishing 4th.
I do as well.
Jameer Young, first team preseason All Big Ten. Fantastic point guard. And as I said, he could be a challenger maybe for that Big Ten Player of the Year. Julian Reese, breakout potential. And then they get Jordan Geronimo, who transferred from Indiana. Then they have 3 top 100 freshmen led by Deshaun Harris-Smith. Their head coach from Seton Hall, who was there last year. What's his name?
Kevin Willard.
Kevin Willard. great recruiter. I think he's a very good basketball coach and a really good fit there in Maryland too.
Yeah, this team was the 8th seed in the NCAA tournament last year. Another player you forgot to mention, Dante Scott, is a
Oh
good
yeah, he's
veteran.
back.
Good
He's an
veteran
Illinois
for them
kid.
too. So I like where we have him at 4. But if I had to name somebody who I think could be the most overrated program by the end of the year, Maryland.
No, yeah,
So
that's fair.
yeah,
That's fair.
yeah.
I have Illinois finishing third.
I do as well.
I'll cover them a little more than you will, so you don't really have
Yes, please
to.
run with it.
Terrence Shannon's back, Coleman Hawkins back. Probably the two biggest, the biggest duo to announce they're coming back maybe in the league. Then they add transfer Marcus Domas from Southern Illinois, 16 points a game last year. Great shooter, great passer, really good fit. Justin Harmon transferred from Utah Valley State. He was on the Utah Valley State team that I believe they beat Wisconsin in the NIT in Madison Square Garden. And then they get Quincy Grier from Oregon transfer. Very old team. So they played an exhibition game against Kansas. Take exhibition games with a grain of salt. First half, they were both teams were mixing and matching with different lineups and rotations and all of that. Second half, it was pretty much both teams' rotation. They were trying to win the game. And the final 4 minutes, Illinois went fifth year, fifth year, fifth year, fifth year, and fourth year. So ton of experience, which is something they didn't have last year. They had the 2 freshman point guards, then Matthew Meyer, who didn't fit at all. So this team seems to have much better cohesion on offense, pass the ball better, should be able to shoot the ball better. Again, last year left such a bad taste in my mouth that I'm kind of wait and see mode. They're already tested next week against top 10 team Marquette. It is at home. But they also get 2 top 100 freshmen in Dre Gibbs, Lawhorn, former Purdue commit, and then Amani Hansberry as well. But then you have a full season of a healthy Luke Goody, which will help as well. So I feel good about this team. It's more cautious optimism than anything. I do think the league is down though, outside of the top 1 really, and that's Purdue, in my opinion. But should be a fairly fun season for Illinois.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add about Illinois. I think they're going to be pretty good. That's why I got them third. Number 2, I'm guessing we both have Michigan State.
Yep.
They returned 4 or 5 starters.
Yeah.
Tyson Walker, AJ Hogard, 2 studs. Izzo's got great recruiting class that came in. Big Ten's top. Features 3 top 50 players, headlined by 5-star Indiana product Xavier Booker. But I don't know how much the 6'11 center's going to play.
It seems kind of raw.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Very much so.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Jaren Jackson, who he played, but his numbers weren't that great, but he went in the top, 5, top 10
right.
in the draft. Now he's a really good NBA guy. It's kind of who he reminds me of. They also get freshman point guard Jeremy Fears, who goes to high school or went to high school about 7 minutes from where I live in Joliet. He's supposedly a really good point guard, but I, again, don't know how much he'll play because you have Tyson Walker and AJ Hogard, and I believe they get Akins back as well.
Yeah, they got 4 of the 5. I can't think of the guy who started and not there. So.
Jordan, yeah. So should be good. They were kind of mediocre last year, so maybe getting everyone back.
Mediocre, yet they were close to making the Elite 8.
Yeah, it's very annoying and frustrating.
Mm-hmm. And both of us have Purdue repeating as Big Ten champions.
I did not write down a single note on Purdue, so I'm letting you know that.
well, I mean, it starts with Zach Edey, National Player of the Year last year. I think he could be a better player this year while seeing his stats take a decline, and that's just because I think Purdue's got better players this year, and really they didn't lose much from last year, but they just added more experience. Got everybody's older. Added transfer from Southern Illinois, Lance Jones, who's in their starting lineup tonight, who's a kind of built like a brick house. They haven't had a guard built like a brick house in a long time. Actually, he's playing the 3 tonight, but whatever. And then they had some athleticism with Cameron Hyde, who was a redshirt freshman. He's a redshirt freshman, redshirt last year. And then true freshman Miles Colvin, who is not going to redshirt. Don't know how much run those guys will get, but I think Painter starts the year with a 10-man rotation. Then we'll probably end it with a 9-man.
Yeah.
That's usually what he does.
I'm looking at the box score right now. They're up 27-6, and Zach Edey does not have a shot attempt.
That's all right.
He has 1 point. Looks like Colvin just checked into the game, so he's going 10 deep to start, as you said.
So, of course, bad taste in everybody around Purdue's program, sure. Fans, managers, coaches, players, everybody, with the Fairleigh Dickinson loss, probably the probably the biggest upset in NCAA history. If not, it's just right there with the Virginia and the um, Baltimore, Maryland BMCU or whatever the heck they're called.
UMBC.
UMBC, thank you. Loss. But I think it comes down to Purdue this year. Well, of course, making wide open 3-pointers if you're going to get them, but not turning the ball over. The last few years in the NCAA tournament, the early exits, the double-digit upsets, it's not just how bad they shot, it's turning the ball over. If they cut their turnovers by a couple, they still eke out those wins. So just got to take care of the basketball. I'm going to try to enjoy this season. I'm sure it's going to have its ups and downs and full of anxiety, but like good buddy of the show, Evan Webb, said, you only get this team once. Yeah. This exact team one time. So enjoy the ride. Whatever happens, happens. Kind of out of our control. So
it is. Yeah.
But
still doesn't make it hurt less.
No. I don't know if I can be any hurt worse than I was last year. Yeah. So
that's fair. That's fair. But what Big Ten teams do you think make the tournament? Looks like I have 7 making the tourney.
I'll go 7 as well with Northwestern just on the outside looking at.
Yeah, I have the top 7: Ohio State, Indiana, Wisconsin, Maryland, Illinois, Michigan State, Purdue.
So I got Purdue, Michigan State, Illinois, Maryland, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Indiana.
We have the same.
Yeah.
But Final Four.
I do have Purdue in my Final Four. I really didn't want to do it, but whatever. I'm putting them in there. I think Duke makes the Final Four. Yeah. I think they are the nation's best team, top to bottom. Then I wanted to reach for a few others. I didn't want to go, chalk with Kansas and some others. I'm going to go with Texas A&M. I don't know why. I just kind of like them, and I wanted to go with SEC school.
Yeah.
And
that's
the other one,
Kentucky.
No, not Kentucky or Arkansas, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Those are some sexy picks right now. I'm just doing these off the cuff. I don't have anything written down. So, fourth, I'll take Gonzaga. I think they have a bounce back year.
Yeah, I think they're outside the top 10 for like the first time in a long time.
Which might be perfect.
Might be good for them. Yeah.
Yep.
I have Kansas, Duke, Marquette, and UConn. No rhyme or
pretty
reason.
chalk.
Yeah, no rhyme or reason whatsoever. I think those are 4 of the top 8 teams. So it wasn't very creative, but yeah,
should be fun.
Big Ten hoops. Hard to believe that we're here already. You want to just stick with the Big Ten and talk some college football real quick?
Let's do it.
NFL. I did beat you in college football pick'em. Do you just want to go through and pick games real quick, or you want to talk about the?
Yeah, the only notes I had were unfortunately Purdue became the only team in the Big Ten out of bowl consideration already. That's pretty crazy. We're in week 11. There's still 13 teams.
The funny thing is,
open for bowl.
Jerry Palm has them projected to go to the Quicken Loans Bowl in Detroit.
Does he really?
Yeah.
There have been 5 and 7 teams picked for bowls before, but I don't see it.
He still had him in. I don't know.
He's a Purdue grad,
guy,
so I don't know.
I don't know.
But besides that, impressive win for Indiana. I don't care if Wisconsin's hurt or not. Yeah. Still a good win for them. Their first Big Ten win of the year. They did something Purdue hadn't done since 2003, so I got to give kudos there. Good win for Illinois on the road to Minnesota. Like you said, Brett Bielema doesn't lose to the Gophers.
How it happened?
No, I did not.
So, Illinois fumbles. Minnesota takes a 26-21 lead. Luke Altmaier gets hurt. So John Paddock, their backup, who transferred from another Ball State transfer from Ball State. His great-grandfather played at Illinois in the 30s. His grandpa played for Illinois in the 60s. His uncle played for Illinois in the 90s. And he left a starting position at Ball State to walk on at Illinois for his last year because he wanted to. So that's kind of cool. Luke Altmaier gets hurt on 3rd down. So it's 4th and 11. No timeouts left. 1:20 left. Throws a 25-yard pass to Isaiah Williams. 20-yard pass to Pat Bryant. 47-yard pass touchdown to Isaiah Williams, and they win the game.
Can't script it any better.
No. And their bowl odds went from 34% to 61%.
Sure.
So big win for them. It was pretty crazy how it happened. But and they face Indiana this week. So
and then we saw Michigan State. We wrote them off, and they beat Nebraska home because Nebraska can't take care of the football. They just can't.
That's a real bad loss for Nebraska.
They don't know how to take care of the football. They're a turnover machine.
Yeah.
So.
But other than that, I mean, Clemson blew out Notre Dame. Not blew them out, but beat them.
Touchdown, but Notre Dame's offense did not look good.
Um,
Which their fans have given up. That's all I saw on social media. Done. I saw one person say, send Hartman back to Wake Forest.
Well, it's a good thing Indiana basketball starting this week, so they can
it's funny,
give
man.
their soul.
It just cracks me up every year. I'm sorry.
Week 11, IU at Illinois.
I got the Illini for 4.
I have Illinois for 4 as well. If this is a game they can't lose if they want to make a bowl, that's for sure. Rutgers at Iowa.
I got the Hawkeyes for 5.
I have Iowa for 3. That offense is miserable. Just a miserable watch. Minnesota at Purdue.
I got Minnesota for 2. Minnesota's a 1-point favorite at Purdue. Purdue, it's going to be hard. Who knows where the team's head's at? They got nothing to play for really now.
I have Minnesota for 2 as well. Purdue just struggles to score the ball.
Oh, so it's horrendous. Their defense fights. Their defense is getting better.
Is the exact opposite of the Brom days.
So my gosh.
The offense could put up points, but
yeah, they're going to figure some stuff out in the offseason.
Northwestern at Wisconsin.
I got Wisconsin bounce back for 6.
I have Wisconsin for 6 as well. Man, this is going to be real close this week. Michigan at Penn State.
James Franklin, you better not do it to me again. Penn State for 1.
I have Penn State for 1 as well.
I thought you were taking Michigan.
Yeah, it feels like the distraction is going to catch up with Michigan eventually, but it hasn't.
And it's weird. In a 41-13 win, I think that was the final score against Purdue, Michigan didn't overly impress me.
No, it didn't look that great.
No.
Maryland at Nebraska. Maryland is fighting for their life.
Oh, they got shellacked against Penn State, and
I
think Nebraska gets them at home. Nebraska for 3.
I have Nebraska for 5. Maryland had minus 49 yards rushing. And a lot of that was Tua's brother getting sacked, but you take out the sack yards, they still had negative 9 yards rushing, so it's pretty bad. Michigan State at Ohio State, I assume we both have them for 7.
Buckeyes for 7, yep.
So, top 25 games here real quick. We have, come on, number 18, Utah at number 5, Washington.
Give me the Huskies.
Huskies as well. 17, Tennessee at number 12, Missouri. Missouri put up quite a fight there against Georgia.
Yeah, give me Missouri. Barry Horowitz done a really good job there this
year. Tennessee is favored in this game on the road. Give me Missouri as well. Number 10, Ole Miss at number 2, Georgia.
Oh, good game, but give me the Bulldogs.
Georgia's 10.5-point favorites. Give me Georgia at home. Let's see. Number 20, USC, somehow still ranked.
How?
Traveling to number 6, Oregon. They did fire their defensive coordinator, and that's the worst defense I think I've ever seen.
Who are they playing? I'm sorry.
At Oregon.
Oh, give me Bo Nix and the Ducks. Bo Nix right now is Vegas' favorite to win the Heisman.
Him or JJ McCarthy probably right now, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Give me Oregon and a whooping. So I think that's going to do it for college football. Heading on to the NFL, 3 winners, 3 losers. I think you start with the winners this week.
I do. One of my winners, I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings.
Heck yeah.
Yes, they beat the Atlanta Falcons, but their rookie quarterback gets hurt. So Josh Dobbs, who was just acquired by the Vikings on Tuesday, has to come in. He made some great plays towards the end of that game, and they pulled it off. And Vikings are 5-4, so all you can do is ask them to fight, and they're doing that. So
yeah, that's an awesome story. I mean, the Cardinals literally gave up on him, traded him for nothing. And then
I don't understand. He's good enough to be a backup. I don't understand why everybody quits on the guy.
And then the Arizona Cardinals this past week had 52 total yards.
Yeah, they're dumb.
And Kyler Murray's starting this week.
Yeah, they're joking.
Dobbs had not taken a single snap from that center, so he had to do that on the sideline. And on that final drive, Minnesota's head coach, what's his name?
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell was literally interpreting plays to him, like the play caucus says, this person's going here, this person's going here. And he incredible. And the Falcons should be ashamed of themselves. And I think Arthur Smith's gone.
His face in the game just looks like he just doesn't even know what's going on.
His dad's the founder of FedEx, so he can go drive a truck for all I care. My first winner, the AFC North. All 4 teams, if the season ended today, would be in the playoffs.
That's pretty impressive.
The Browns defense, obviously against a real bad opponent yesterday, was great. Baltimore Ravens look like maybe the best team in football right now.
Oh, you just did it. You did
it. Strategic.
Well, they play the Dolphins next week?
No, that's in a few weeks. But the Bengals might be the scariest team in the AFC
They're
right
clicking.
now. They're back. Joe Burrow looked awesome last night. And then somehow the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have been outgained in every single game, yet they keep winning. It's going to catch up with them eventually, but because Kenny Pickett's terrible, but they're finding ways to win, so you got to kind of have to throw them in there.
I absolutely hate this organization, but hey, I got to be fair. Sometimes this podcast, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Not only did they get rid of just a colossal mess of a head coach and Josh McDaniels, it looks like the players already like Antonio Pierce better. The players are playing better yesterday. Looked like they're having fun.
Yeah.
Funny what happens sometimes when you get the bad habit out.
Players were talking about no more walking on eggshells.
Yeah, that guy, he doesn't know how to handle people. He just doesn't.
Yeah, McDaniel's time as a head coach is over.
It's got to be, right?
Needs to go back to Billy Boy so they can.
It's the only place he fits in.
Yeah, and I don't think Billy's going to be there much longer either. Mm-hmm. My second winner, Houston Texans, man.
They're fun, man.
CJ Stroud was the pick.
We tried to tell him, Jay, man. We tried to tell him.
Yeah, I know. The Panthers screwed up. It's pretty evident. Of course, there's a long time to go in both those guys' career, but CJ Stroud set a rookie record with passing yards through 5 touchdowns. Was it 5 touchdowns or 4?
I think it was 4.
Anyway, that's one of the best games best quarterback games we've seen this year, and it came from a rookie. They're good, and they could win that division.
Who did he pass for most passing yards by a rookie in a game?
Andrew Luck.
Mark Bulger.
No. Why was I thinking it was Andrew Luck?
Mark Bulger.
Oh, anyway.
So, at least unless the TV lied to me, which could have. Yes. My next winner, or my last winner, is I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm really hating myself talking about the Raiders and the Chiefs, but they got off the 21-0 start and hung on over in Germany, and Rock is pretty much home game, really, for them.
Yeah, it was a home game.
But their defense is good, man. I'm not.
Their
offense so for them, but their defense is really good.
Yeah, it's weird because it's been the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. But no, the Chiefs are one of 5 teams that have like advertisement rights or something in Germany, so there's a lot of Chiefs stuff.
Oh, that makes sense. I wasn't sure why they had.
My last win, man, I took 4 teams in one with the AFC North, so that kind of limits me. Let's go Philadelphia Eagles. 8-1, 1 at home. Got pretty fortunate they're 8-1.
Yes, they did.
But did not break my heart to see the Cowboys lose.
No, never.
I start the losers. The AFC East. Patriots are the worst team in the AFC for sure. Dolphins can't beat a good team. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. It's cliche, but that's true. And the Bills already have more losses this year than they did last year.
Falling apart.
They have some issues there. So hopefully I'm throwing the Jets in there because I'm hoping they lose tonight and they could be having 0-4 week. But bad week for the AFC East so far.
My first loser is the New York Giants. They stink.
They're not winning our game this year.
They stink.
Especially with Danny DeVito at quarterback.
Yeah. I realized I screwed up, and I was like, I'm not.
I thought you just did it as a joke, honestly. But
no, I screwed up. I'm just gonna let everybody think that no, Tommy DeVito's not the guy. Daniel Jones not the guy. That offense is just putrid. It's awful. I've never seen a team make the playoffs one year and take this far step backwards before.
They were pretty fortunate to make the playoffs last year.
They were, but
that
still.
Daniel Jones contract, we talked about it when he signed it. That was a terrible deal for the Giants. Yeah. I never thought he was very good. Now it looks even worse. But I'm surprised Tommy DeVito ever took a snap in the preseason, let alone now he's going to probably be the guy the rest of the year, according to the New York Post. But
Illinois football fans have a new team to cheer for.
Yeah. Seattle Seahawks got destroyed by my self-proclaimed best team in the NFL, Baltimore Ravens, but terrible effort. Geno looked horrendous yesterday. They gave up 37 points, just an absolute bludgeoning.
I'm going to throw 2 teams into my next one so we get this going since we got to do picks still. Panthers, Cardinals. I think the 2 worst teams in the league. They just stink, and they're not getting any better.
Yeah. Yep. My last one, the Falcons. I think Arthur Smith's days are numbered. He's not using Bijan Robinson at all. So, and he's running jet sweeps with Jonnu Smith. So, you beat me in Pick'em this week, unfortunately. I had
The
a
Commanders
bad week,
pick
but,
probably did it.
Thursday night, the Texans hurt me and the Commanders hurt me because you took both of them and I did not. So, yeah. Week 10, maybe the worst Thursday night. We've
Awful.
had a lot of bad Thursday night matchups, but this is legitimately one that I might not watch, which is rare for me. And that's the Carolina Panthers at the Chicago Bears.
I'm taking the Bears for 13. That's how bad I think the Panthers are.
I'm taking the Bears for 3. I don't know if Justin Fields is playing. Supposedly he's going to, but who knows? Indianapolis Colts against the New England Patriots in Germany.
Again. In Germany, Colts for 11.
Man, I have the Colts for 2, so I'm rooting for the Panthers and Patriots this week. Houston Texans at the Cincinnati Bengals.
I like the Cincinnati Bengals for 9.
I have the Bengals for 12. New Orleans Saints at the Minnesota Vikings.
Like I said, I like what the Vikings did, but I think the Saints get them with a week prep. Saints for 8.
I think the Saints are terrible. Not terrible, but mediocre. Derek Carr, never been a believer. Give me the Vikings for 1. Green Bay Packers at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I got the Steelers for 7.
I have the Steelers for 11. Tennessee Titans at the Tampa Bay Bucks. Both teams are terrible.
I got the Titans for 5 on the road. I like Will Levis so far, and the Buccaneers burn me every time I pick them. So.
And they do me as well, and I'm continue to pick them. Bucks for 7 for some reason. San Francisco 49ers at the Jacksonville Jags.
Both teams coming off a bye. This should be a good one. Give me the Jags for 6.
I have the Niners for 6. Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens.
I got the Ravens for 10.
I have the Ravens for 10 as well. Atlanta Falcons at the Arizona Cardinals.
Got the Falcons for 12 because that's how bad I think the Cardinals are, even with Kyler Murray.
I have the Falcons for 5, so they burned me too because I pick them quite a bit. Detroit Lions at the LA Chargers. I almost said LA Clippers. Man, I need to take a nap. LA Chargers.
I took the Lions for 2, but this game scares me for them.
Yeah, I have the Chargers for 4. I think it's pretty much a coin flip. New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys 14.
Yep, me too.
That's going to be a killing.
Washington Commanders at the Seattle Seahawks.
Got the Seahawks for 4.
I have the Seahawks for 9. New York Jets at the Vegas Raiders.
Got the Jets for 3, and I don't know why.
I have the Raiders for 8. Jets have been awfully fortunate, and
they have.
Their defense is great. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But Denver Broncos at the Buffalo Bills next Monday.
Broncos for 1. I'm fully ready. I'm ready to get hurt again, Josh.
I have the Bills for 13.
I really need the Broncos to win that one. This is going to be lopsided one way or the other.
Yeah.
We vary a lot.
Which is rare for us to vary that much. Yes. That was a good show. I'll hit you with the birdie bogey real quick.
Yeah, I should have thought about this more.
Let's see. Kyle Whittingham of Utah is one of 5 active FBS head coaches with multiple Rose Bowl appearances. Can you name the other 4?
James Franklin?
Yep.
Jim Harbaugh?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh. I was so confident. Franklin.
Got a chance for a par.
Yeah, I got to think about this now. Oh, crud. Who in the Pac-12? Active coaches. Okay. I'm still thinking. I got a little time. I'm still thinking. Everybody I think of is not active anymore.
Yeah.
Kirk Ferentz?
Nope.
No, just give me a bogey. I know he's been a 1 because McCaffrey ran all over his butt.
Chip Kelly?
I thought about him, but I didn't know Oregon made it twice.
Mac Brown?
I would never guessed him.
And Brett Bielema, Wisconsin. You should have known that one.
I should have got that one. Mac Brown, I would never guess because I was trying to think Big 10, Pac-12. Wow, that's embarrassing. That I deserve triple bogey. That was one of my worst ones. I'm very embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed for you, T.
Gosh, I thought I could get within 2 strokes, and I am.
I don't know if I would have gotten one of those correct. I would have to think about it. Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show. We'll be back at it next month with another episode. Have a fantastic week, everybody.